Big juicy stuff going on in the world of sports. We'll start with college football because finally, officially, for the first time this season, the USC football team is one of the 4 teams in the college football playoff. Now, that could change if they lose the Pac-12 championship game to Utah, but as of this morning, right now, USC is number 4 in the country. So it looks like this: Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and USC. So if they beat Utah tomorrow night for the Pac-12 title, they control their own destiny. They will be one of the 4 teams playing for a national championship.
Big time game in Utah. You and I know how tough that can be, so that'll be something they have to clear. And I think TCU is kind of helping USC's case here. It's like, if TCU is number 3, I think definitely USC deserves to be number 4. Nevertheless, they are in the mix. Good for them.
You want the conspiracy theory, though, right? So here it is. So they think Georgia, I say they, like college football experts, right? Georgia and Michigan are solid teams into the college football playoff. But TCU at 3, USC at 4. If they both lose their conference championship games, the teams that are number 5 and 6, just on the outside looking in, are Ohio State and Alabama. So the college football experts say, wow, think about it. If Georgia was 1 and Alabama was 4, what a juicy national semifinal. And the other semifinal could be Michigan-Ohio State rematch. Those are the conspiracy theorists out there.
I don't think that's a conspiracy at all. I think you're dead on right. If they lose these games, that's exactly what's going to happen. Alabama and Ohio State back in the mix.
Yeah, you know what? They're going to have a loss or 2 on the season, but they're these big national powerhouses, and they might sneak them in there, especially if USC loses to Utah twice in a season, and people will say,
Right.
For TCU at least, they didn't have the greatest schedule. So there's these arguments that you could put Alabama and Ohio State in there and kind of get these, these SEC and Big Ten rematch games in the national semifinals. But if USC wins, there's no doubt about it. You win on Friday night, you take care of your own business, the Trojans are in.
Right. This is the beauty of it. A lot of teams don't even get the chance.
Yeah.
USC, you have the chance. I can't believe it. I love it.
Yeah, they're behind the driver's wheel. They can do it. They can drive all the way to the national semifinals right now. The other big college football note, and this came out last night, was the Rose Bowl finally agreeing to be part of this new college football playoff that will include 12 teams. We'll go from 4 to 12 beginning in 2024, but they needed the granddaddy of them all. They needed the Rose Bowl to sign and join them, because the Rose Bowl is very staunch in saying, hey, we're a New Year's Day game. We kick off at 2 p.m. Like, this is how we do it. It's tradition. It's legacy. And they didn't want to mess with any of that. But it looks like there's enough room for agreement, at least, to move forward and have the Rose Bowl be part of this 12-game playoff.
Great move. It is the granddaddy of them all. I can hear Keith Jackson right now. But even me going to Washington State, the Rose Bowl was the promised land, and it's very cool. And it should be part of this whole deal. And I'm kind of glad they came to their senses a little bit. I know, hey, they got history on their side.
Yeah.
They're very proud. They are the granddaddy of them all. But I'm glad they're willing to bend a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, how could the Cotton Bowl or the Peach Bowl or some of these other games be national, playoff games, and the Rose Bowl just be, a couple throwaway teams?
And think about the amazing games that have been in the Rose Bowl. Yes, they have history on their side too. I mean, Super Bowls, big national championships. Yeah. It's awesome to have it as a part of it. Yeah. And obviously, it's right by us.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. I'm fired up, and hopefully this 12-team playoff, maybe it'll be a taste of March Madness a little bit. Maybe we'll see some upsets. It'll be fun, but that's 2024, so not next year, but the year after they can start that. So
I love it.
All right, NFL, Patrick, and if you're a Raiders fan, we talked about maybe this playoff push by the Silver and Black, maybe, but they're going to play the Chargers this weekend, and to me at least, this feels like a playoff game already for the Raiders. If you lose this game, I feel like they're going to be too far out to make that push. This is a playoff game for the Raiders. It's your division rival in the Chargers. And the Raiders, again, back-to-back overtime wins. Maybe they got something going. They're going to string together a couple wins here and make that push. But I think it starts this weekend. They have to win against the Lightning Bolts.
It's a great Hell Week, as they always call it, right? That's what it used to be called. So that'll be a very exciting game. I'm with you. I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. Also, another video that is going viral, and it is giving my Seattle people a lot of, oh, you're too nice. Derek Carr coming off the field when he beat the Seahawks. There's a couple of Seahawk fans that went over to him and said, "Hey, man, you're a badass. Don't lose." It was actually a really cool interaction. You just won this game. Go kick some ass. So, of course, everyone's like, if you were in Philadelphia, they'd be like, F you, Derek Carr, right? He was shaking hands with Seattle. I mean, if that doesn't show you that, I think Derek Carr's a pretty cool dude.
He is, and that's what a lot of people say. He's a great guy. He's a great leader. He's all those things, and he's just very polarizing for some reason. I think he's in the top half of the quarterbacks in the NFL at least. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but he somehow takes the grunt of those losses, the bad losses for the Raiders. But right now, again, he's gotten them to a couple wins in a row, and all of a sudden the Raiders are feeling like, all right, well, let's put the foot on the accelerator and see what we could do here, make that push for the playoffs.
And he's been in the Raiders-Charger games many times.
Yeah,
so
he knows how big these are.
Now. Yes.
Big rivalry game. So it feels like a playoff game, at least for the Raiders on the Raiders side. A couple other big games. 49ers taking on the Dolphins. This is a sneaky good game. This is two first-place teams, Patrick, going head-to-head.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Two very genius coaches in my mind get to battle it out here. We got kind of a potent offense. We got a really potent defense. So we'll see what comes. I think it could be a low-scoring battle. We'll see what happens. Unless, of course, Christian McCaffrey goes nuts.
Yeah.
Then it could be a blowout on the 49ers' part. But I think this is going to be a great game, too.
Yeah, you know what? Go ahead and call me the 49er fan, but defense wins over offense. And if it's a low-scoring game, that obviously is going to favor the 49ers, who have been really locking teams down defensively. And, so if it's low-scoring, that's going to favor San Francisco. But, again, battle of first-place teams. Could this be I don't want to say Super Bowl preview, but maybe. I mean, it's two of the better teams in the NFL right now.
Right. Also, the coach of the Dolphins, if you can catch the NFL films of him mic'd up with Tua, they are absolutely hilarious together. Yes. They fit very well together. They can be very honest with each other.
Yeah, they're and they said that in the beginning. Remember Miami? He said he's a very cerebral guy. He's kind of a different coach, but maybe that's the perfect fit for Tua, because Tua Tagovailoa is having a great season.
Right. I won't bore you to death, but there's one part where Tua comes over and McDonald is like, "Do you like this play where you're going to be handing it off to your right, or do you like it where you're handing off to your left?" And Tua goes, "Coach, I like the play that you think is going to score us a touchdown." And they both started laughing, and I was like, "Ooh, they get along in a way." And they can kind of yell at each other a little bit, especially Tua. Tua seems very level-headed.
They're close in age. You know what I mean? Like he's not that much older than Tua. So, that's funny. Whatever gets you in the end zone, that's the right answer. Right. Whatever gets you in the end zone.
A little bit of this too. Tua, buddy. It's very funny.
Hey, Patrick, real quick, couple other quarterback notes from the NFL. So for Deshaun Watson, looks like he's going to start. The suspension is over. Looks like he will start for the Cleveland Browns against his former team, the Houston Texans, this week. And I know that's another very polarizing quarterback for obvious reasons, these allegations against him, but it looks like he's in line to start this weekend, and again against his former team, which makes that matchup even more interesting now. And
10 of his accusers are going to be at the game.
Yes.
So it's going to be very awkward.
Yes, super awkward. They're going to the game not because they want to watch the game and support the Texans or the Browns. It's because they want to make sure that people don't forget about them and these allegations against Deshaun Watson. So, but the suspension is over. He's practicing and he's supposed to start this weekend. That's what we know.
He's going to play.
Yeah, he's going to play. And the other big quarterback news was Aaron Rodgers, with the rib injury, and there's rumors that they might shut him down, like Aaron Rodgers might be done for the season for the Green Bay Packers. So that might be the window for Jordan Love to go in there and make a case to be the quarterback. But what if he goes out there and lays an egg? Then they have to go back to Aaron Rodgers next season. So it's a very complicated situation. The Packers and the 49ers, I feel like, are in these weird quarterback situations. And for the 49ers, I don't want to say luckily Trey Lance had an injury, because you never want to see somebody get hurt, but that kind of made the answer for them. And now the Packers, with this injury to Aaron Rodgers, it kind of made the answer for them, because now they'll have to play Jordan Love.
He says he's going to play, though. He plans on playing.
Yeah, so we'll see. And the Packers are not in playoff contention. So how long will Aaron Rodgers fight through this painful injury to play on a team that's not going to be in contention for a playoff spot? So that's the other caveat there.
Right.
And finally, World Cup fever, man, everywhere. The USA knocking off Iran 1-0 in the final game of pool play. So now they go to the knockout stage. I will be up on Saturday at 7 a.m. to watch the USA taking on the Netherlands. And Patrick, that was a huge win for Iran. I feel like everyone I know was watching this game.
Everyone was watching this game, even when I went to pick up my kids at school. I mean, it was like a party. It was pandemonium. These kids were so excited. And I mean, my son, my 11-year-old Kyle, comes up and is like, Daddy, did you see the game? They let us watch it. And when the goal got scored, everyone went crazy. I mean, we're talking 1,500 kids went absolutely nuts. Props to the teachers out there that are getting the kids all excited about this World Cup. I think it's very cool. These kids were juiced when I picked them up.
Yeah, you know what? My kid's school too. Same thing, man. Team USA, they erupted on the goal. They were so excited that they won. It's almost like the earth stood still for that hour or two that the kids got to watch the game in their classes, which I thought was really cool too. Very patriotic, very red, white, and blue. And again, get behind Team USA, Captain America, Christian Pulisic.
Right. And for those who don't know, it's like basically we're in the Sweet 16. If you will. It's kind of hard for people to understand what's going on, but we're down to 16 teams, and we're one of them. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, to be one of the 16 best teams in the world is a big deal. For example, Mexico got knocked out. Mexico did not advance, but the USA did. So, I mean, there's some good teams that did not move on. And again, now we're in the knockout stage. If you lose, you're over. You go home, just like March Madness. If you lose one game, you are done.
This weekend is going to be great. We will recap it on Monday with our guy, Pep. Tell him how to get your stuff.
Hey, you can get my stuff all weekend long on Inland Sports. You can check us out on Instagram. We got Twitter. We got Facebook. We got the Inland Sports YouTube channel. So we got some great local sports right now, including California Baptist and UC Riverside basketball. They played last night. If you're in that sort of thing, check it out. That's Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.